What was you watching?
Stupid show about put me under. Swear to God, documentaries are just like trying to watch Kingdom of Omaha with my grandpa. Marlon Perkins was
It was a David Attenborough. Good napping. Good napping.
Bob Ross.
Yeah. His
If
shows
you-
aren't long enough, though.
If I get a case of insomnia and I just can't go to sleep, I watch Bob Ross. It takes about an episode and a half.
Yeah.
The second episode, he's either gotten done with the mountains and is drawing trees, and I'm done.
JC, what are we talking about this week?
I don't know.
Okay, welcome to the Mystic Podcast. I'm here with my brother Tom and my other brother from another mother, JC. JC,
Word.
who's in full control of this show. He has
Oh,
all
That's right.
the show notes.
It's gonna be awesome.
He knows what we're talking about.
What are we talking about today, JC?
Stuff, lots of stuff. And when we're done talking about that stuff, we're gonna talk about some other stuff.
Some mystical stuff.
Yeah, it's because it's a mystery.
Well, I have a question for you, JC. What do you know about the Solar Warden?
I just read a little bit about it. I found it kind of silly.
Did you really? Is this the first you've heard of it? Because I heard of it when it happened.
No, yeah, it's the first I heard of it. Well, Tom died.
Somebody give him CPR.
I have risen. I've risen.
Now this happened I think it was 2003 or 2005, or I don't remember, but it was Gary McKinnon. Okay. He was this British hacker that broke into NASA and NASA and the
remember
military.
that.
Yeah, that's where this comes from.
Oh,
That's
really?
where this comes from. And he claimed to have found this list of non-terrestrial officers. Okay. This fleet-to-fleet transfer logs. Ship names, whole freaking 9 yards. Okay.
Okay.
Like that
Now
space
that you
fleet.
connected to that guy, I think I do.
That's
remember
where
that
this come
alien
from.
stuff,
That's
yeah.
where this spawned from. And then later, there were some whistleblowers that came out, a Corey Good and a Randy Kramer, that kind of confirmed what McKinnon had said. And he fought extradition. There was the whole thing. They're actually making, and the reason I know all that in detail, they're making a movie about it right now. When McKinnon was over there fighting extradition and
Yeah.
how he ended
He
up,
fought that for a while.
he ended up winning. Well, he ended up, let me find that. He ended up being fine because
He ain't one of those guys they found that hung himself after shooting him in the self.
No.
The shotgun.
he's still alive. He's
Oh,
still
okay.
alive. But it wasn't that he just hacked into the computers while he was in there. He did stuff like message them with "your security sucks," and then
That's what you're supposed to do.
he also messed around with what was it? He messed around with some of the weapon logs and system logs. He deleted some of them. So he ended up with a $700,000 fine in damages.
Did
When it was
he
all
owe,
said- Oh, and
he
it
owe
was
that to the U.S., right?
yes. Well,
Okay.
yes, the U.S.
Well, who
military
cares?
and
He's in
NASA.
Britain. What's he?
And NASA.
Britain gonna make him pay it?
Well, yeah, I think I don't know. But it happened in 2002. That's when it happened.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the records that he got access to were from the 90s, 90 to 97. But anyway, so it's from that. Okay. Let me go back. And I remember when this happened, and I remember him talking about this whole. It made me think of it's probably numerous sci-fi shows where you've got a group of beings from all kinds of they're aliens, humans, all kinds of different working together to do whatever job. And that's kind of what he talks about. That
Talking
this
about
is
Starfleet
like.
Academy, right?
Is that what it is? I
That's
mean, I think it's
Starfighter.
several.
What do we do now?
Almost several wide or sci-fi shows do that. But
Yeah.
so some suggest that the Solar Warden, which is this group of people, they're people, beings, whatever, is not merely a defensive, but also engaged in a larger multi-dimensional effort. Kind of keeping us cosmically
Secluded?
or cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Yeah. Yeah, until we're ready kind of thing. And which when I didn't think about when I first heard this back in the 2000s, I didn't think of this. But I remember this happening. And now that I'm revisiting it, it makes me think of Bashar. Is he part of this group?
I don't know. I tell you what, though, it's interesting that they talk about, they have bases. They have a base on the moon that's on the dark side of the moon where you can't see it.
That's next.
See, I think that to me, bases on the other side of the moon seem more likely because and this is the weirdest thing about the moon that bothers me, is it always has the same side of the moon facing the Earth, no matter where you are on the Earth or anything. So its rotational axis is actually centered on the Earth.
Yeah.
It doesn't. As orbits like a camera. So if you're going to watch Earth safely without being worried about being found, you would do it from the moon, and you would put your base on the other side of it because we would never see it.
Right.
And I guarantee you, they were pissed off at us during the 60s when we were stomping around up there in the early 70s.
Leaving trash everywhere we went.
Yeah,
right.
water bottles, Dorito bags.
Played golf.
Astronauts. I see there's some astronauts in town up here throwing candy wrappers everywhere.
Cigarette butts. All
yes.
Bastards.
We were. We were. Well, but that brings us to the bases on Mars.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is also a long going, thing, but it's connected to the Star Warden because with the testimonies of those whistleblowers, Corey Good and Randy Kramer, who I mentioned earlier that corroborated McKinnon, they describe established outposts on Mars, supposedly developed in collaboration with various extraterrestrial races. These bases are often portrayed as part of a larger, you're going to love this, Tom, breakaway civilization, advanced human groups that have separated from surface humanity, and they possess technology centuries beyond what is publicly known. And when I read that, it made me think of the thing a few podcasts back, how the Anunnaki carry a team of humans with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was their I forgot what exactly kind of point it was, but I know that was like a stopping point. When they would come here, they would stop at, well, allegedly they would stop at Mars. They had a depot there, and I don't know if they would refuel or take a break or whatever they were doing there, but they had an outpost there, and then they would leave there and come here.
Yeah, they call it a waypoint.
Yeah.
I also found on the web, I can't remember where it was, but there was a picture, I guess, on Mars, yet another structure that that NASA and everybody denies.
So.
But there's like 3 pylons, and get this, they're in the set up and they're aligned just like the pyramids in Orion's belt.
Oh,
and I find that very interesting.
Speaking of Mars, remember that video I sent you, Tom, where they said that where the guy like basically proved that it was Greenland with a red filter?
Yeah,
that was ridiculous because he went to Greenland and he had photos of Mars, and he was walking around Greenland. He noticed a terrain was similar to Mars, And then he started looking around, and he found spots that match identically, rocks, the same rocks in the same places with the same hills in the background. And he's walking around there taking pictures that match. And then I think he was on Google Earth looking for it, maybe.
Huh.
But he found places that matched it, and then he's spinning around, and then he spins around the area, and then he sees like this speck, so he zooms in on it. It's a team of scientists with a truck that says NASA Mars Project.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I just know that I think it was Neil Armstrong is the one that punched the reporter in the face that said we'd never been to Mars.
That's
Who was
Buzz
that?
Aldrin.
Yeah, that was
Was it Buzz Aldrin? Okay.
Buzz Aldrin.
He
He's
had
cool.
a few incidents where he basically said we never went.
Oh no, he punched the guy in the face because the guy said they had.
He
Which
cocked
one was it that said they never went? There's one that said they never went.
I don't know of any that said they never went.
Buzz Aldrin said he went. He actually clocked the dude. It was, I remember them talking about that.
He was old too.
And you know what? He's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
But
Which is cool.
It's like it's bullshit. We were there. We were there. I'm not going to ever argue the fact that we were there.
Yeah, the other thing about Mars, it seems like whenever we see pictures of it, it's always like Cydonia, or just the the train doesn't change with the crawlers. They always take pictures of the same like terrain and area. It's like, I don't know. They could have traveled a lot of miles by now and taken pictures of lots of different things.
Unless that's the only place they can take pictures.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Is it seems like we just get the same type of things every time.
Because
I mean, the whole planet. There's probably not a lot on the planet, but the terrain has to change at some point.
Well, I noticed it's always rocky, but also, I mean, my thing is stuff reading from what Sitchin wrote, in the Earth Chronicles series. Excuse me. But the thing about Mars and everything that possibly there was a nuclear war on Mars, and that's why it's all rust covered and messed up like it is. But still, I don't think it would be all that. I mean, it seems like everywhere is rocky. There should be something. The terrain should change.
Well, but here's what I'm saying.
The rust color is probably just from a high iron content and oxygen and whatever.
If there was a nuclear war, then we have sampled the soil. It would be there. It's still there in Chernobyl.
It would eventually. It's going to go away. I mean, there'll be trace amounts of it.
They said the sand in the desert where Sodom and Gomorrah was supposed to be is radioactive.
Yeah.
So I think
I don't know
it would remain higher than normal. Like everything's got a little radiation, but like they can tell if it's higher than normal.
Right.
And it's possible. I mean, it's possible they've read the radiation. They just haven't said anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm almost positive. I think it was the Wars of Gods and Men. That book, and I want to say because they talk about I know they talk about the nuclear war on the Arabian Peninsula.
Yeah.
And they talk about
they took the missiles out of the mountain where they'd hidden them and fired them at everybody.
Right, and they got everyone out of there while the winds were pushing the radioactivity across the Red Sea and into
the evil wind.
The evil wind. And I know they had talked about that also. I'm almost certain there was a part there about Mars, and there was a Lalu, which was, I guess he's the guy who got usurped by Anu and escaped and went to Earth first. And what kept him from getting executed is because he found gold on Earth, and that's what they were needing. So,
well, there's a trilogy to this. So we had the Solar Warden connected to the bases on Mars. And all of that is also connected to the radio signals from under the ice in Antarctic.
Yeah. See, I haven't found a very big article of that. I just basically found that it was happening because they set up some communications. They're trying to see because it's so remote. They're trying to see if they could get anything out of the atmosphere. And instead, they detected signals coming from deep under the ice.
Right. So it's the ANITA
like
project.
ANITA,
the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna Project. And what this project is it detects strange. Oh, no. Sometimes ultra high energy cosmic neutrinos or radio pulses that seem to be emanating from beneath the Arctic ice. So this antenna, they're studying this, right? So this is a thing. This is not conspiracy. This is a NETA project. This is a thing. But they've reported anomalous events where particles appear to be traveling upward out of the ice. Something not easily explained by known physics.
Yeah, because neutrinos usually come from space and
right. So there's different theories. Some of them, I thought Atlantis. Yeah, there it is. Legends of Atlantis or Lemuria being connected to the region. Anomalous signals may be technology operating far beneath the surface, perhaps ancient machinery.
Well, there's
waking
also
up due to the geomagnetic storms that we've been getting.
What if it's subglacial Nazis in their submarines?
Hey.
I mean, they apparently built bases there under the ice. Maybe they're under there at the radio.
Yeah.
It explains why they're in Argentina.
Well, and if you talk to the metaphysical folks, some of them consider Antarctica the crown chakra of the earth. And that line of thinking all goes in with, the solar storms and how that is actually the source, the universal God, whatever you want to call it, downloads, code to us, downloads awakening or thoughts, and when we talk about that, we equate that to allegedly these people that wrote the Bible, that's how they got their information. You see what I'm saying?
Well, the Ark was supposed to be a transmitter and receiver.
Whatever. But yeah, but that it's possible connection with Atlantis. I don't know.
Well, okay. Here's the thing with Atlantis. If you ever, about the Piri Reis map.
Piri Reis map.
It was made in like what was it, Tom? Like the 1300s or earlier, or 800?
I want to say it was the number 1526 comes in, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah, it's hundreds of years
old.
It was
earlier than that.
Yeah, it's before like Spain came to explore, or like any real Western explorers came over.
When they crossed
it's like way before that. It's old, and it's a map basically that shows the actual coastline of Antarctica without the ice, and they proved it by ground penetrating radar. It matches perfectly. So he somehow mapped the entire. What was it? He had Africa on there. I think he had the Americas, and he had the coastline of Antarctica. And the thing about it that I kind of noticed is that when he did it, it's like on its side. I don't remember which way north is pointing on the map, but I know the map when you read it, it's like not the right angle that you would look at it with north and south.
I think I saw that map recently, and I didn't know what I was looking at.
And he's got like little drawings of like what animals are in the regions on the different continents and stuff, and
different trees and stuff like that.
But it seems like because you have to rotate the map for it to match our north and south.
Yeah,
I don't remember what the compass on the map said, but I haven't bothered to look it up in a while. But I'm curious to look at it again to see which way the map points to north and south, because I think it might have been long enough ago that it was before the magnetic shift.
Well, that's exactly, or the pole shift.
Yeah.
The when the earth changes its wobble or changes, because that's what they're saying, that it's possible that Atlantis is what's lying underneath.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was
getting ice. Yeah.
A lot of things point at Antarctica having been in the tropical zone and having been Atlantis.
Exactly. Yeah. And that what's under there are all these, this.
Well, who knows? You can't see it.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen it.
Exactly. But some people think that it's not just neutrinos that they're mapping. They're equating a lot of this, and this is currently happening. So this is happening right now. Okay. These energy discharges and stuff, ancient devices. Is it causing, or is that what is causing dimensional shifts, interactions between Earth's conscious field, and we have all this parallel reality? I mean, physics is starting to prove these things. There's papers written. So this stuff is coming to light, that there are parallel realities. This reality is not what you think. There's already a written theory on it. And once there's a written theory, we're that close to it being proven. That's the whole point of a written theory. Portals, wormholes, that's been coming up a lot lately.
Yeah. Well, if that thing they found at Skywalker Ranch is real, I'm convinced that that's a wormhole.
Yeah.
Well, and okay, let's say that it's not Atlantis. Let's say that let's go back to the crown chakra of the Earth thing, and that this is a geographic region where there is a power source to form wormholes or portals or, you know, timeline shifts, whatever. And that's what's at Skywalker too. And maybe these damn things are all over the place.
Well, see, the thing about wormholes is they might be everywhere, but it's not something you can like stumble into or accidentally fly an airplane into or anything. You know,
I don't know about that.
Well, I think it might be something that you
have
to
Bermuda
protect with high tech and be able to access it. I mean, some of them might be strong enough where.
But some people think that all this solar energy is activating them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Could be anything. That's the whole thing.
Electromagnetic stuff. Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things, I go back to Sitchin and the Earth Chronicles, you know, the 12th planet and all the books that he wrote. One of the things he talks about is everything's cyclical. You know, it's very cyclical. Things happen over and over again. It could be a possibility we're seeing the cycle come around again. You know, these things are popping up. That whole thing, like JC said about Skywalker, you know, Skinwalker Ranch, you know, that bubble, that's just crazy because the bubble goes underneath the ground. It's literally a bubble.
It looks to me. It looks to me like there's a wormhole there, and there's a shield that surrounds it, like a sphere. And
possibly.
And I think that whatever else is there, it turns it on and off whenever they need it. And
because it emits. Because if I remember from past seasons, it emits a signal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It started emitting on different frequencies now.
Well, and some people are suggesting the possibility that just like that, and this, it's actually a signal of an alien race that is here on the planet. They're subtle, tiny signals so that when other races come in to our whatever, these signals go, hey, we're here, which goes back to the Solar Wardens.
Well, and that goes back to what I was saying, I don't know, however many episodes ago, about the story the Indians told, that when we're occupied by one race, the other, like our galactic neighborhood rule is that if somebody is occupied a planet, the other people have to stay off.
Yes. However, you're not supposed to come onto a planet and enslave people.
Well,
which is where the Anunnaki, why they're in trouble.
Allegedly. Well, I think what happens is we don't count because we're considered unaware.
Well,
so until we become aware, we're not accepted as a civilization.
That's currently what's happening. We are becoming aware, and the other races are coming in and going, okay, this isn't going to work anymore. This is now becoming a sentient being. This is what's causing the problem. Galactically, allegedly.
I think the thing is, we're in it. And I've said this before about astrology and stuff. What little I do know of it and everything, what I have read, but I'm convinced that we're in transition from the age of Pisces going into the age of Aquarius.
Oh yeah,
we're in that transition.
Yeah,
and I think 2160 is when it's going to happen, and I think
I think it's going to be 2027.
Yeah,
I think
I'm thinking between 2032 and 36.
Bashar says 2027.
well, I'm thinking 2160 is when everything's going to calm down and it's going to go back to.
That may be.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, it might be 2080 if I do my math right. 2012.
That may be when everything.
I mean, I
settles
think it's
down.
around 20 in the 2080s. I think that's going to be
And
the tip top of the bad, and then
the
it's going to start to
question will
get better.
be, will it be a soft or a hard reset? Will we be put into amnesia again, or will we go into the 5D, the new Earth?
I think the reason why we went into amnesia the first time, it wasn't like they did something to us. I think a cataclysmic thing like the Younger Dryas, something happened.
I think they made that happen to knock us back.
I think
That's
so too.
right. And basically it knocked us down. Didn't get rid of all of us, but it knocked us down enough to where stuff's going to get lost.
Are you aware of the Cabbage Patch Kids theory?
I've heard it, but I'm still kind of on it.
Okay.
Is that where you do the dance like that?
There's a race of interstellar Cabbage Patch Kids that lives underneath the gardens of the United States, and they control everything through mental radio signals.
Okay, so there's a theory.
And they make a lot of spaghetti.
That during these resets, okay, they have a cataclysm like you were talking about, but they like save the babies or they save young children. Like we're talking pre-memory children that don't know, maybe up to 3, maybe. Okay.
Okay.
And then they put them with these families, these planted families that are brainwashed, or maybe they're there on purpose doing it, but they have no memory of what happened. So they raise this new generation of human up with this counter history. Now,
that's a movie.
Yeah.
Now, knowing what we know now about how people monkey with our freaking history
and genetics.
Yeah.
That's plausible.
I would say, yeah, it is plausible. There's a movie, Nicolas Cage, called Knowing. Have you ever seen that?
No.
That's a good movie.
I think I did watch that one.
That's actually a halfway decent movie. And the thing is, it's like at the end of the movie, basically it's the destruction of the earth. Fire comes up there, rips the earth. But there's like these aliens, and like certain families, they've got, they're basically his son, and I think his son's like 6 years old or whatever. And he follows, the aliens are telling him stuff, and he's figuring out what they're wanting him to do. And they take his kid, and they basically, the aliens take the kids, because he had one, and a woman he met, she had like a little daughter, and they took the 2 kids. The aliens took the 2 kids up, basically to another planet to restart life or something or other. Because at the end of the movie, you see the kids frolicking around, and they're just, like the Cabbage Patch thing.
And it looks like they're in a Garden of Eden situation.
Yeah, a Garden of Eden kind of thing. While the Earth,
does whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. Knowing is what it's called.
So, I mean,
Knowing, good movie.
And it's funny, but when you look up, the Cabbage Patch Kid theory, Tartaria comes up. This theory often appears.
A lot of this.
Here's what it says. This theory often appears alongside the concept of Tartaria, or the so-called mud flood. These ideas claim that there was once a great global civilization that was wiped out by cataclysm, and that the existing governments of the world then repopulated certain areas with orphaned or artificially created children to cover up the past.
What if the mud flood is because of a Taco Bell pandemic where people ate too much Taco Bell?
Right?
And they had
it all happened at once, yeah.
All at once, maybe that's why we when the pandemic hits, we take the toilet paper and we hoard it.
It's like it's an innate survival thing,
Mud Mud flood. I'm just saying.
Mud flood. That's the new term.
They backed up the sewers, mud flood. Shit literally got buried.
Yeah.
But I
listen, back to the Solar Wardens. Wasn't it Elon? Redirecting. Wasn't it Elon who wanted to start a breakaway civilization at Mars? Didn't you tell me that?
Say that again. I didn't catch it.
Wasn't it Elon that wants to make a breakaway civilization on Mars?
Oh yeah.
I do too. I just don't have the money.
I don't think Elon's got the money either.
Well, he's got a bit.
He
can get 3 or 4 people up there.
He spent it all on Special K.
Yeah, but I mean, he was. There was.
Yeah, that was just recent.
Well,
it's stupid to think it would have to be a breakaway civilization because it's stupid to think you would go to Mars and they'd be like, you know what? We need to let Earth make all the decisions for us up here, and we'll just enforce their laws on ourselves. Who's going to do that? Who's going to do that?
Why would he do? Who says he's going to do that?
Well, I mean,
maybe he wants his own rules, and maybe
that's what I'm saying. Anybody that goes there, why would you be subservient to Earth?
Why would we colonize an entire country because we didn't want to pay our taxes, only to develop the most intrusive taxism ever?
We basically broke away from the British government because they were putting taxes on us that were not fair, and we had no representation. Well, taxes happen in any country.
Say that again real slow. Say that again real slow. We have taxes without representation.
Yes. Technically, you have representation.
Who the hell
just have to pay attention who the hell you're voting for.
Yeah, that's what the congressmen
I know.
The congressmen are supposed to be our representation, but they represent corporations and themselves.
They represent their
when America freaking wakes up finally and it takes Congress to task and basically says you need to start fucking representing us rather than what you're doing, then the country will get better.
If you want to get rid of the corruption in Congress,
won't that fix everything?
Well, the quickest way I think to fix corruption in Congress is to take away the money. The Constitution says they're only supposed to get per diem to be in Congress, and I think that's all they should get, and they should only get it while they're in D.C. And then the rest of the time they should be at home.
Right.
If they're not voting on something, they should be at home.
And you know what? They don't need to be in D.C. to vote on things because you got things like Zoom and everything else. You can do it.
What that does is it makes them depend on a working man's salary, so they'd have to have a job at home making money during the week.
I know.
And then like maybe once a quarter they go and vote on their bills. So the rest of the time they submit bills, pass them out to everybody. They actually have time to read them before they vote on them.
See, that's the thing. Whenever somebody goes in and takes over somewhere, they're doing it for their own power. If Elon were to go and colonize Mars, absolutely he's going to set himself up as the emperor of Mars or whatever. Yes. Whatever you call the king of the planet.
I don't even know. Tom, I would have the Martian Imperium set up within about 20 minutes.
I mean, but
big hat, big crazy hat, and
funny
everything.
that is recent that was brought up about Elon.
Anybody would do that.
So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trust anybody. The thing is, you can't trust anybody because no one's trustworthy anymore. There's not one person you can trust. I mean, it's
there probably are people you can trust,
but they're not trying
enough to find them.
Yeah,
you know,
but Elon wouldn't be the first on my list.
Because not trusting people leads to conspiracy theories, and that's why we have a podcast.
Well, it's why they used to appoint people to Congress and the Senate, because the population is small enough that the people getting appointed were known to the people who appointed them. They're like, this guy would be a good representative. This guy would be a good, and they'd pick him, and they'd be like, "Well, you're going." He's like, "Well, I don't really want this position." It's like, that's why you're going,
right?
Because you'll do a good job,
right?
And then like millions of people that don't know this guy's like, "I'll do everything you want. Just give me the big check, and I'll fly out there." And they're like, "That guy, I like that guy."
And we have lobbyists.
Yeah.
Yep.
But screw all that.
Screw all that.
We can't do anything about that. But you know what? we can talk about the Solar Warden and everything else, you know.
Yeah. Well, we can do something about that, but
Well,
we're
we
not
can,
going to talk
but
about it here.
no one wants to be the only one, be the first one to get busted for it.
We're
So.
not going to talk about it here. No, this is interesting, and I tell you what, it fits so closely into everything else. Didn't I send you, Tom, the video about the Anunnaki calling the military base? And they had it.
I think so.
I've seen that more than once.
Like, we accept a collect call from the Anunnaki.
They gave some message. I can't even remember what it was.
Well, you accept a phone call from Inky.
Come get me. I'm done skating. Click.
Right. We've got the gold. We're coming back. We need more. Click.
Message from Nibiru. Bitch better have my money.
Will you accept the toll charges?
Exactly.
Hell no.
No, and that's weird. And there was another one. Where's my phone? I'm gonna see what I
Are
said.
you going to call Nibiru?
I might. I'll be like, dude, yo, come get me, please. Please. I can cook. I can clean. I'll get your chakras set straight. Will be it.
Is that what you're calling it?
Keeps me on this side of the law. All right, Tommy Nine Toes. Let's see what I
straighten out your
failed
chakra.
to see. Oh, this is the here's something else we can talk about.
Uh-oh.
The Buga Sphere.
What?
Well,
it says
bad jokes aside.
It clearly says seen underneath the video. So you obviously just looked at it and didn't watch the video.
Hold on.
The Buga Sphere. I'll bring them up and we'll play them. I've got 3 short videos.
Is it scary? Is it where it's the ball that says booga booga?
It'll be okay, Jace.
Sure it's not the Bunga Sphere?
No bunga bunga.
I thought he called it Buga, but we're gonna find out here in a second because Stephen Greer's one of the videos. It's like 2 guys. Okay. Ooh, King Charles speaks to the world. Okay, where are you at?
No one cares.
Messages.
King
Tommy
Charles is not as
Mondo.
big of a disappointment as I figured he'd be.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Here is the Bugas. We've got 3 and they're short videos. Here's the
I
Buga.
think I have seen this.
Here's the Buga Sphere.
The Bunga Sphere?
Yeah, they found this thing.
Oh. We can watch that.
The Buga Sphere from Colombia is really quite interesting. It's something that I started to research almost immediately as we'd seen depictions of these type of things, not only in shows like Skinwalker Ranch, but also in the artifacts from Mexico. And the team sent me these photos and gave me a breakdown on some of the science that's been done on these things. And it's absolutely incredible. This thing is gaining weight or changing weight. It's got a very interesting core inside of it. The metal and the way it's formed around, as you can see in the x-rays, is very, very unique. And it's unlike anything like these lab technicians have ever seen. There's a lot of little cores inside the nucleus of this thing. It is very, very hard, harder than aerospace aluminum. It's got a homogeneous number of holes, 32 holes that go around it. And it's almost as if it's got to have those there to breathe or to, however it's adjusting to the environment. This thing is not just something that was found in the ground either. This was seen flying through the sky and a large electrical discharge coming out of it as it fell to the ground. And, there's actually footage of this thing flying through the air. It's definitely a mystery.
Look at that.
Not one that needs to be dismissed. Seeing popular TV shows come out saying that this thing is fake, just like the pieces that we found in Mexico, it really makes you wonder the motives and the aspirations behind this science and why they would claim this with such certainty when clearly we are seeing things that stump the science and the experts in this field. Seeing it pop up in people and on different things, Apple News, Fox News. It was everywhere yesterday, and it says it's stumping scientists. It's definitely not something that we can write off as 100% hoax, and that's exactly what some of these experts have said. So I'll wait for the information and the science, and I hope you guys will too. Trust in the science. Nobody else.
All right. So there's this guy.
Oh, he looks credible.
Quick update on the Buga Sphere press conference yesterday. Dr. Stephen Greer spoke about how he met a Green Beret.
Not very loud.
Testified that he was taken to
Why is he talking so quiet?
a base in Indiana. And
Because if they hear him, they'll come in and put him in the jacket.
Very weird. But had the same symbols on that are on the Buga Spheres, which is fascinating. So does that mean it's reverse engineered secret tech or alien tech? I don't know. But Dr. Greer also alludes to the fact that these spheres have been found in the US. They've been retrieved by special forces, thugs is his word he uses, and people have been killed because of these spheres. So he's really happy that Hami Massan has gone public, disclosed this information for their own safety. So what do you think about Dr. Greer's thoughts that the Buga Spheres
We're gonna see Greer.
Killed?
This is the last one.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm in Mexico City. As many of you know, we've been examining the Buga Sphere for the last 2 days with Congressman Burleson and a group of scientists. We've just been notified by Jaime Mason that there was an attempt by fake policemen to enter the vault where this Buga Sphere is stored, and we have notified security in the apparatus I'm working with under law enforcement. And you should know that the other risk here is that we have taken specific samples from the Buga Sphere that will be tested in a state-of-the-art lab to prove whether or not the metal, as well as some of the other components, are of Earth or outer space origin. Those scientists' information have been provided to the top law enforcement and security apparatus that I'm working with. And so any sort of attempts to interfere with this examination will be known, and the people and perpetrators will be held to account for it. So this is what I wanted people to know, and we're doing everything to set up security for this. Thank you.
Tell me his
Hello,
face
everyone.
doesn't look like a mask. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
I don't know. He looks like he always has. He didn't look normal in the first place. I bet you he's probably some kind of Palladian or skinwalker.
They call it a Buga Sphere because the town it was flying around in was named Buga.
Well, okay. I remember watching this video. They say that they brought that thing down with like some insane high amount of voltage or whatever. And
no, that it crashed. It let out a big arc of voltage and crashed to the ground. Nobody shot it. It like short circuited or something.
Okay. The way I read it, I thought that somebody somewhere voltage from somewhere hit it and
no.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I find interesting on the Buga Sphere, as they were showing up there like close-ups of it and everything, the writing on there, it looked like some kind of language, kind of looked like what you saw in Lord of the Rings when they were showing the one ring that,
Well, Tolkien made that up though.
But
but still, yeah.
It looked like that, and what I find funny on the Buga Sphere, and it's just like the layout of a lot of the old Mayan ruins.
Well, and that's what I was going to say.
It looks like a circuit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say right there. Because in my opinion, Mexico rarely puts out anything that's very credible. It's usually hoaxes. Their videos are hoaxes, or most of the stuff they find are like fake skeletons and stuff. And so when you look at the design on that thing, it looks like it's inspired by other Mexican like designs. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, but if it's a hoax, Greer
I mean,
will
it
freaking
looks
have
good.
it.
It's definitely one of the better ones if that's what it is. But especially where like that microchip and the, is emblazoned on there with the
Mhm.
you
Well,
know
the
the
fact
circuit.
that Greer has it and is studying it, I'm waiting to see, because if it's a fake, he'll be like, it's fake. Because he talks about, what is it,
Well, he
allied.
might be a fake human, so
I know, right? I'm telling you. But he talks about allied misinformation. And that is, oh yeah, aliens, but we're going to feed you fake shit,
yeah.
not the truth. So he's always out to catch, whistleblowers, and that's the same with Jeremy Corbell.
I like him. Well, I like him better than that old guy with the glasses with MUFON. I don't like that guy very much. I don't trust that guy.
I don't know.
I think he
With
died.
MUFON?
Yeah,
Uh,
the little old
yeah.
guy.
He's got the glasses, they're like big bug shield glasses.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that guy always comes off like a government worker.
He probably is.
I know. That's what I was saying. I was like, what better thing would you do than to say, hey, we're going to set up this independent thing so people that have experiences can report them to this group that's going to collect all this evidence, and it's a private group, but it's really not a private group. All that information just goes back to the government.
Well, now the government has their own database that you're supposed to report to.
Yeah. Well, that ain't happening.
Well, but yeah, I know. It's supposed to be part of uncovering these clandestine programs that are out there and costing trillions of dollars, and
Well, what probably happens is they just group them all in as conspiracy theorists and
but
come after them eventually.
could it also be a way to track people who are being contacted, and so they can be gotten rid of?
Well, there's a theory that like the abductions happen repeatedly to the same people in the same like genetic lines because they're monitoring that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they would get rid of them, because if the other theory of them working together with the government is correct, then the government would probably know which people to leave alone, and because those are the ones being monitored.
Well, I don't know, but that's happening today. This sphere, this is happening.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, if it is a hoax, it looks pretty good. But
and how do you? Yeah,
the fact that the design on it reminds me of Mexican art kind of bugs me.
But is Mexican art maybe based on ancient alien content?
I just find it weird. Like I said before, they've shown aerial pictures of ruins, of Aztec ruins, Mayan ruins, and they all kind of have the same design as like a microchip, and the circuits going in.
Oh, like the Temple of the Sun and that city around it a little bit, yeah.
I find that very.
Were they all power plants like the pyramids in Egypt? Were all of them that?
I honestly, I'm convinced that the pyramids of Egypt were probably the main power plant.
Well, to me,
and I think there's
for
a
the globe or for
network,
that region.
The thing is, all the pyramids that they have in the world are between like what, the 23rd parallel. They're at the same latitude.
Well, it would be interesting to locate the pyramids and see if they correspond with ley lines.
Yeah.
Let's ask the Google.
Like to me, the differences in the pyramids seem more like the Anunnaki assigned different people to different.
How do you
regions.
spell ley line?
Ley.
Ley.
So it seems to me like maybe the difference in pyramid styles is just due to personal preference of the Anunnaki that were in that.
Oh,
region.
it's Ley.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well,
I thought you said A. Oh, I thought you said A.
That.
We must have said it in Canadian.
Stonehenge, the pyramids, Giza, Machu Picchu. All of them are on ley lines.
And what longitude or what latitude are they on? Are they on the 23rd parallel or the 24th parallel or something like that?
Let's ask. We'll ask Lucian that.
Yeah, see, because that because I think there's something to the ley lines. I'm not sure what it is, but it's funny that they're like that. They're a thing, and that so many old things are built on them.
On the 23rd parallel, is that what you said?
Yeah, 23rd or 25th parallel, one of those. Ask them what parallel all the pyramids are on.
The 32nd.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. 75th.
75th and parallel?
Yeah, 75th and parallel.
Oh, and always, this is what you tell. This is what you say. All you know, not just traditional data. So it's all got to do with the sacred geometry, but not all of the pyramids are built on the 23rd parallel. The 23rd parallel is actually the Tropic of Cancer.
That's very interesting. And then you got the Tropic of Cancer, and then down below, past the equator, you have at the same distance the Tropic of Capricorn.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is at the 29th. The Pyramid of Meroe in Sudan,
Dr. Moreau,
is on the 16th. It's like 1617.
That's where you find the monkeys with 5 butts.
Yeah.
The Mayan pyramids are at 20, and the pyramids of Teotihuacan are at 19. So they're not far.
They're very in that area. And so
they're all located between 15 and 30.
So if they're all located on the same at ley line points, at points on the ley line that have a lot of power, then there's kind of a smoking gun there,
Well, it says here, Giza sits at a major grid node near a crossing of several major planetary energy lines, which I think what he's talking about is ley lines. Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, Easter Island, Angkor Wat, Teotihuacan are all located at key nodal points on the grid. And the so-called Belt of Orion alignment theory that connects Giza and Teotihuacan and other sites along patterns that match the stars. Then there's the Belt of the World, which is the 30th parallel theory by Karl Munk. It's an ancient architect. The Great Pyramid of Giza lies at the 30 parallel. 30 is a multiple of 6, which is sacred geometry and harmonic mathematics, corresponds to hexagonal and crystalline structures, patterns observed in planetary energy flows. Yeah, it's all about math.
I'm telling you. And it's
so
funny.
Even though they're not lined up, they're still at key points.
Right, they're at key points.
Yeah,
and
like
it's at one time they weren't lined up there at one point in time.
It's almost hard to find one that isn't on a key point.
Right.
How do they know?
Like they're built specifically there.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder if places like Skinwalker Ranch, maybe that's a key point.
I don't know. Find out what
I would think it was a key point. There'd be some sort of like a pyramid somewhere close.
Maybe it's underground.
Well,
because do they not have? There are pictures taken by, I don't know if it's a trail cam or whatever, outside the lodge or that main house, okay, where they stay, of a dome, and inside that dome you can see a pyramid.
At Skinwalker?
Yeah.
Okay, well, apparently
that was like past. It was either past episodes or it was on the extra stuff that they put on YouTube.
Well, apparently Skinwalker Ranch is a 37th parallel. Apparently, the UFO highway is basically the 37th parallel.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. And maybe we're totally off with even worrying about parallels. Maybe it just comes to where ley lines cross.
Well, I'm just saying the ley lines are crossing at, we have things measured on the Earth as a grid. You got longitude and latitude.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible. I just find it interesting that between certain latitudes, there are an influx of pyramids around the world. So basically, I mean, if these are power plants, so at one time, what was it powering? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, was it just powering that where it's at?
Was it that
Was
region?
it all connected?
Or is it a network?
Right. Right.
And this where you get into Tesla, Nikola Tesla.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
He was tapping into that.
Mm-hmm. And if it can go in the ground, which he proved can happen.
Right. And the thing is, what he was doing was he recreating like with the antennas, you got the relay towers, where signals bounce off the relay towers and go off other places. I mean, did he figure out how to make relay towers to bounce energy over there,
Right.
I just looked, and apparently there are several ley lines within Skinwalker Ranch.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they got a lot of acreage, so.
Yeah, it's like there's like 100 or something. There's like a lot.
Yeah. I know they got a big area.
I'm telling you, the more and more this shit comes out, the more convincing it is. Right. It's just like all the time something comes out to corroborate what was already there.
Well, I kind of have a tendency to think that the pyramid probably used to power the ley lines, and that was how they sent power across the globe.
Yeah. Kind of like what Nikola Tesla was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, you figure these, because these big, like these pyramids, the Giza pyramid and the Angkor Wat, that's a huge complex.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of different areas. I mean, those are the two that are just sticking out to me right now. I mean, I know there's more.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
all kinds.
Even the pyramid, the Temple of the Sun, they're in Mexico.
Because like if those pyramids were lighting up the ley lines, that would encompass the whole globe. And then if they had electric vehicles, that would explain those hieroglyphics and the pyramids and the ships and the helicopters and everything, because they'd all be within the ley lines. You just jump in one and take off.
They can probably just tap into the energy because it's out there free. So you just tap into it, and
it would explain some of the stuff they said about Atlantis too, having power.
Yeah,
it all ties in.
And what if? Now, JC, didn't you tell me they found like a pyramid under the ocean?
Oh,
like Cuba, yeah.
Yeah. So what? Now here's a huge what if. Okay, what if Atlantis was like one of the big focal points, and then some kind of, I mean, I can speculate that they say Atlantis sinks into the ocean. What if the reason why it sinks into the ocean is because it's on a fault line, and you have plate tectonics come into play, and so basically it basically was a big enough earthquake just to sink the island. There's an island off of Spain that is basically, they say it's like hollow in a sense. That it's just like one earthquake away from sinking under the ocean, like Atlantis.
Plato said that Atlantis disappeared amidst a bunch of steam and dust or something, fire. I don't know, but it sounds like it could be more like Atlantis picked up and left rather than sank under the ocean. It doesn't. I don't think he says it sank beneath the waves. He said it disappeared in a cloud of, I think, dust and steam.
It says 2 decades. So 20 years ago, this happened 20 years ago. Researchers working off the coast of Cuba came across the remains of an ancient underwater city that later proved to be older than the pyramids of Giza.
Yeah. They had a little submarine or something they sent down there, and they found all kinds of structure.
Yeah. Looks just like the things you see down in Mexico today. Actually,
yeah, it's pretty deep. It's pretty far down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to me, I mean, I'm just speculating. You over time, you have.
I'm gonna try to bring up this image.
Well,
for
you remember
y'all.
when Google Earth first came out, and I showed you I found a city that was underwater off the coast of wherever that was, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it happens. Definitely happens.
I mean, Doggerland. You know what Doggerland is, don't you?
I don't know.
Doggerland was the land between who was it? England and France and Iceland or something like that. It's up there. It was in the English Channel. Was Doggerland, and it, you know. Oh wow!
Look how those three. Look at that lined up like that.
Yep.
I know, and it looks like yet again
And
a
see how it's a
circuit board.
step pyramid like the ones down in Mexico?
Yeah.
You got the circuit board set up.
I don't know, man. Something to that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But Doggerland was a land. I want to maybe it's Denmark, between Denmark. All I know is it's in the North Sea and around the English Channel, and then it like water rose and basically took it underneath the sea, kind of deal. I mean they've actually said that's what happened to it. This land over here was at one time called Doggerland. Doggerland.
Okay, I was just asking you if you were saying Dauber or Dogger.
Dogger. I mean
I don't know.
that's something that the mainstream science and archaeology has said.
And here's the thing. These underwater pyramids are found all over the place.
Yeah.
Maybe there were small pyramids or remnants of pyramids have been found here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, that's
So
my theory is that we just tore them down when we found them without marking them or making note of them,
and used them to make houses.
Yeah, we just were like, savages built something, and they just use the materials for something else. Because there's no way that they're, in South America, they're in Africa, they're everywhere except here, and I think they're only not here because we took them down. Because those guys in the 1800s wouldn't have thought twice about it.
Oh no! If you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like you got Cahokia, south of St. Louis. I mean,
is that underwater or not underwater, but underground city? Are you talking about the underground city?
I'm talking about the plateau they have out there in Cahokia from the Mississippian culture.
Yeah.
The Indians, the Mississippian Indian, culture. And they're also Wichita. They found out in Wichita, Kansas, that there was a huge, metropolis at one time. That was during the same time as Cahokia. It stretches from there, and then you figure you go all up into Ohio and the Ohio Valley. There's where they have the snake and everything.
No, that's not. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that we have some sort of, we do have. It would be in our south, wouldn't it? If they're going to be there, because that's where the parallel runs.
That could be anywhere. Like the plains would have been a great place for pyramids.
Yeah. Well, in Arizona, where they have the Hopi Indians and stuff, in Sedona, I mean, I guarantee you, there's something out there. I know they talk about in the Grand Canyons, there's a pyramid that they don't let anyone go close to.
Well, the rumor is that that's where they found the Egyptian stuff, and they don't want anybody to verify it.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that, but it's not going to let me see it. It's going to block me with some bullshit. Back in 1885, they found this city underneath Missouri, underneath Moberly in Randolph County.
Moberly?
Moberly.
Of all places.
Yeah. It was like back in 1885, it was 30 to 100 feet. There was a hall that they found underground that was 30 to 100 feet. With stone benches, tools. And that's where they found the giant bones.
Oh yeah, that's what I was watching earlier, was stuff about all of those. And Tommy ain't moved for a little bit. Is he feeling all right?
He was shocked
Apparently,
by the story.
deep in thought or something.
I don't know what's wrong with him. Oh, he's gone. Maybe he'll be back. Maybe he'll be back.
He's probably cussing right now.
It's time to get off anyway pretty soon, but we won't until he gets back. But that, they allegedly found those giant bones that the Smithsonian, I think it was, scooped them suckers right up.
Yeah,
and
they
now
went around buying them up, and
where
then
are they?
Yep.
That was here in Missouri.
I was watching the thing about all of that is what I was watching earlier, and they're talking about all the ones they found that had 6 fingers and 6 toes, like they described in the Bible.
That was
Goliath.
a genetic defect. That was a trait.
Well, they're saying the theory on that they didn't outright say it, but they were kind of pointing you in the direction of thinking that was a trait from the Anunnaki. The 6 fingers, because the double rows of teeth. Yeah, because of the double rows of teeth and stuff. Because that's another thing that goes back to that story about the Indians with the extraterrestrials and stuff. Was that basically the race that they referred to? They had a different name for it, but the Anunnaki had 2 rows of teeth, and they ate their enemies, and they had 6 fingers and 6 toes. But they had evolved from a kind of a dog type of humanoid.
Oh, I've seen that. That is allegedly a race of alien.
Yeah.
And
that's what they said.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that we call Anunnaki, but they're humanoid now. They don't look like dogs.
They don't look like dogs, huh?
No.
Huh. I bet that's Tom.
Yeah.
I just lost everything. So he evidently isn't coming back. Oh, well. That was a good. Let's see. So, like, can you get back? Maybe he lost internet.
Maybe.
It's that damn sun. We'll see if if it's internet. I don't know. That was good. We'll bring it back next week. Who knows what we'll talk about?
I don't know. It seems like we keep coming back to the same kind of stuff.
Well, then think of something new, JC.
No, I don't mind talking about it. I don't want to think of something new.
There he is.
Dude, that's crazy. The whole thing just went blank. I heard a Moberly, and then it was gone.
That's why you don't say Moberly.
You didn't hear anything after we said Moberly. Oh, hell, he was sitting there still for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. He's sitting there like this.
No, I'm sitting there like, that's why if you look, I sent you all a text.
Well, I just got it when I answered, like just now, got it.
Black hole of technology. This house.
No, that underground city was under Moberly. And that's where they found the giant bones that the Smithsonian allegedly came in and scooped up, and now we can't find.
Of course, because the Smithsonian is like.
And JC, tell him what you were saying about the Anunnaki.
Oh, which part?
About the 6 fingers and the 6 toes and the double row teeth, and they looked like dogs. And
she was talking about the Smithsonian and everything, and that's actually what I was watching earlier. Was a documentary about that stuff and how they went around and bought up all of those things and disappeared them, and then claimed they're all hoaxes. But they're sure to go give a lot of money to collect them all, And,
yeah.
They said a lot of them had 6 fingers and 6 toes, like Goliath was described in the Bible. And they didn't outright say it, but it was kind of pointing at the fact that might be a trait of the Anunnaki.
Well, and how many Egyptian hieroglyphs do you see with the dog heads?
Yeah. Well, also, they said that they had double rows of teeth in their mouth, which goes back to that Indian legend I was telling you guys about, where they described what we call the Anunnaki. They had 6 fingers and toes, and they had double rows of teeth, and they ate their enemies, and they're really violent. And that's apparently what Sitchin says is the Anunnaki is what they call it. They had a different name for it. But,
right.
And I was saying that is actually a race of alien that.
Yeah, because they're descended from some sort of a canine type. Yeah, they're descended from some sort of a canine type, and they evolved into humanoids. And she was saying that there's a race of aliens described like that. I don't know where, but she knows.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, I feel the Smithsonian is just like NASA. It's like
Oh,
the
they-
Smithsonian. They go up there. It's like they're covering something up. They always want it. It seems like the government has like these private sector groups that go in there and cover up all the stuff. NASA's.
that thing I was watching, I also pointed out about St. Christopher that they kind of gloss over it, but I guess in a few places he's described as being over 7 feet tall. And
Mhm.
there's also just like depictions of him and paintings and stuff where he has a dog head.
Yeah. Well, if you I went to the Nelson Atkins Art Gallery, Art Museum, and they had the big stone tablet with the Anunnaki on there. I mean, he's got the handbag, the watch, and everything. And I mean, I've seen pictures where there's just like a Gilgamesh where he's holding the lion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
There's a
this
race of aliens that allegedly look like lions.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's probably where we get the Sphinx from. Because honestly, I've read that the Sphinx, when it was built, it had a lion's head and it was facing the constellation of Leo.
Well, the best story I've heard about the Sphinx is that it actually was originally an Anubis, and on the other end of the Giza Plateau was another Anubis, and they were guarding the 2 gates of hell. It's just the other Anubis is allegedly under the sand somewhere. They haven't found it.
I don't know. But according to Bashar, in 2027, we're all going to find out.
Well,
because that's when everything changes. He says that's when it comes down. The aliens quit monkeying around with us, and they're like, if they haven't told us, if things haven't gone the way things need to go, that's when they're coming down and changing all of it.
It's probably when that guy's going to cash out and buy a house in the Bahamas.
Right. I mean, my thing is, it's like with Bashar, it's just like all those people on TikTok. I'm a time traveler, and this time in 2025, this is going to happen, and nothing ever happens.
Well, and here's the thing about Bashar, though. That's not the type of guy he is. In fact, this is the first time he has said, here it is. Here's the year.
That's when he's going to retire after all this show.
Is Bashar just like a nickname for Balthazar?
It's Bashar is a guy who basically channels Bashar.
No, Bashar is. Channels. Yes, Bashar is.
The guy, I don't know what the guy's name is, but he
Daryl Anka. Daryl Anka is his name. Yeah. And he doesn't predict. He doesn't do anything like that. This is the first time he has said, okay, I can tell you.
He's going to retire.
What?
Because he's made his money.
Yeah. So he's going to pack up and go to
Tropical
Zone.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
He's going to buy himself a shrimp boat.
You don't have to believe him at all. You don't have to believe him at all. I forgot Frank was in here.
Fuck Frank. Frank's pranks are at it again.
No, you don't have to believe in him. I don't care that you don't. If you don't,
I mean, I want to believe in him. There's a lot of stuff that he says. It's like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I have a hard time, and I who I blame? Zach Bagans. That's who I blame, because there's so many demon possessions on this show, it has come to a point where I don't believe it. So when I see someone else coming in there, I'm channeling this. It's like,
Zach is all but canceled at this point. Have you heard all the drama? Have you heard all the drama?
Did Ed Hardy drop his
because I stopped watching him 10 years ago.
Yeah. OMG. So he was dating this Holly chick, right? Which he did a show on her house, right? And I knew they were dating when he did the show, you could tell. But anyway, she's going through his phone one day. Come to find out, he's like doing like 11 other freaking people.
Well, of course.
So she calls him out. And now all these bitches are coming down on him, canceling his ass. It's hilarious.
That sounds like the only cool thing he's ever done to me.
What?
That sounds like the only cool thing he's ever done to me.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, now it's been confirmed. He's a douchebag. Entertaining nonetheless. But a
How does he
douche.
even get a bunch of girls wearing Ed Hardy all the time? I don't even get it.
Well, and the thing is, what's his face? Is the guy that does it, the one they always send in the basement by himself. Every
Aaron.
episode. Aaron. His
Aaron.
wife was trying to kill him.
Oh yeah, that poor
She
guy.
was
I
going
saw
to pay
that
this
when he was in
dude
court.
$10,000 to do him.
Yeah.
Right.
I
It's
know.
like, what
Like,
the
why
fuck?
wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she? You could just go
I
live
bet
somewhere
you.
else.
Here's a conspiracy theory. I bet you if you look at the list of women, his wife was probably in there.
No.
No, I don't know.
But
That
what's
I'm just talking
hilarious
smacks, and
Oh,
then
you do
that's
know.
serious.
You do
when
too,
they
though.
caught her and found the texts, found this communication between her and this prisoner, which you don't communicate with the prisoner privately. There's a there, we've got your texts, we've got recordings. I've sat through hours of recordings
Yeah.
from prisoners. And she told everybody, well, I was giving him money for his cigarettes and stuff.
Who, Zach Bagans?
Like, no, his wife. No, Aaron's
Oh,
wife.
Aaron.
That's what she said. What, are we just going to pick this random jailbird and send
She's
him
one of those
money for
idiots that makes friends
cigarettes?
with prisoners. Yeah,
Friends with prisoners.
yeah. Good idea. Oh, you stole a whole bunch of shit and went to jail for 10 years? Want to be buddies?
Right. Do you
I
need
got lots of stuff. Maybe you'd like to
I
come
felt
visit.
really sorry for Aaron. I like Aaron. I've
Yeah,
always loved
Aaron-
Aaron. He
I
seems
have
like
to
a nice
say,
guy. His
I just
dad
the
was
thing
on the
is,
show.
he's with Zach, and it's every episode. Every episode I've
Oh,
ever
yeah, he does it
watched,
to this day. Yeah.
Aaron, you're going to go in the basement by yourself,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And get
and
possessed
you're
by
going
the
to do
devil.
that.
You're going to go get
Yeah.
possessed by the devil and make a
Yeah.
bunch of funny faces.
They do it to this day.
And it's
All
not a
right.
wonder they don't have someone there with a bunga bunga machine or something.
All right. Well, let's call it
Well,
quits.
Aaron's the only one that never got possessed. You ever know that?
Yeah. Well, he's a good spirit.
It's a wonder Zach didn't go down there possessed and do something bad to Aaron himself.
I
I'm
bet
just
I
saying.
don't know,
Zach
but
would
he's
be
loyal
better.
to Zach. They're good friends and they're loyal to each other. Them and that Billy Tully and what's the other guy who's a witch? Who's the other guy's name?
I don't know.
Sort
I
of
don't watch
numbsy.
that show anymore because it's like
Oh, it's
after
entertaining.
so many possessions, I'm done.
Look, I'm
Is
out to
it
be
sort of
entertained.
numbsy?
I'm out to be entertained. I already know there's ghosts. I have my own evidence if I want to see that. I want entertainment.
But he is Ghost Adventures.
Dance for your supper.
That to me, a show like Zach Bagans kind of discredits all the other
Oh,
stuff
not at all.
and
Not at
causes
all.
that to be considered pseudoscience.
I
from
think
other
we're
people.
past that. I think we're past that. I think we're past that in the field. I think we're past that in research. Physics is already corroborating a lot of evidence and writing theories. I think we're past that. I think the only reason that stays alive is people like you.
No,
Yeah, Tom, it's all
Because
your
we're
fault.
past it. We're past it.
It's all your fault, Tom.
We're past
You
it.
are-
Now
It's always
we're
my
moving
fault.
so far past it that we're not even calling them ghosts anymore. Now we're so far past it that it's not ghosts. It's possibly science is showing that these are dimensional beings or these are alternate timelines or parallel lifelines or whatever.
They're disconnected entities.
And that we're actually seeing,
Yeah.
people from the past or, other lifelines or whatever.
I think
So-
sometimes when you dream, you tap into alternate realities.
Oh, I absolutely believe
Yeah.
that. Oh, there's no question.
Like the other day, I had a dream that I was in Subway and when I was there with some people from the sheriff's department and we were working and then zombies came in the back door and we all freaked out and I ran outside and I got in my kid's car and when I was leaving, I was trying to get out of the parking lot, but some girl was kept opening up the driver's door and trying to stab me with a spear and Tom Cruise is in the back telling me Mission Impossible directions how to get out of the freaking thing. I'm like, why are you in my car?
I'm ending the recording. Goodbye.